By September we'd settled into our new normal. My mother was in her new apartment, adjusting slowly but surely. Daniel had started first grade, full of stories about his teacher and his friends and the hamster in their classroom named Mr. Whiskers. And Jessica and we were building something real. "I've been thinking," she said one Sunday morning as we lay in bed, lazy and content. Daniel was at a friend's house for a playdate, giving us a rare few hours alone. "Dangerous," I teased. She swatted my arm. "I'm serious. I've been thinking about us. About our future." "Okay. Your employment contract technically ends in October. We should probably figure out what comes next." My stomach clenched. Do you want me to find another job?" "What? No. God, no." She sat up, looking genuinely distressed. "Gina, I'm trying to ask you to stay. Permanently. Not as an employee but as my partner. In all ways." "Oh." I felt like an idiot for panicking. "Oh. I want to make this official. I want you to know that I'm committed to you, to us, to building a life together. She took a breath. "I want you to move into my room. I want us to be a family, openly and completely. Jessica. Unless you're not ready. I don't want to push." I kissed her, cutting off her nervous rambling. "I'm ready. I've been ready." She smiled against my lips. Yeah. I love you. I love Daniel. I love the life we're building. I can't imagine being anywhere else. I love you too." She pulled me closer. So much. We spent the rest of the morning in bed, making love slowly and sweetly, and I felt like all the pieces of my life were finally falling into place. That evening we told Daniel over pizza, his choice. "So Miss Gina is moving into your room, Mom?" he asked, carefully picking pepperoni off his slice. "That's right," Jessica said. "How do you feel about that?" He shrugged. "Okay, I guess. Does this mean you're married?" "Not married," I said. "At least not yet. But we're committed to each other." "What's committed mean?" "It means we're a team," Jessica explained. "We're choosing to be together, to build a life together." "Like a family?" "Exactly like a family." Daniel thought about this for a moment, then said, "Can I call you Mom?" He was looking at me. I felt tears spring to my eyes. "Daniel, you don't have to." "I know. But I want to. You do Mom things. You make me lunch and help with homework and read me stories and make me feel safe. That's what moms do." I looked at Jessica, who was also fighting tears. She nodded encouragingly. "Then yes," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "I would be honored if you called me Mom." "Cool. Can I have more pizza?" Just like that, it was settled. And later that night, after Daniel was asleep, Jessica and I moved my things from the third-floor suite to our bedroom. "Our room," she said, watching me hang clothes in the closet. "I like the sound of that." "Me too." She came up behind me, wrapping her arms around my waist. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. For this to stop feeling like a dream. I turned in her arms. "It's not a dream. Real. We're real. We're real," she repeated like a promise. Then she kissed me and we spent the rest of the night proving just how real we were. Of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Real life never is. Daniel's father, Marcus, reappeared in November, suddenly interested in being more involved in his son's life. He'd remarried to a woman named Brittany and she was pregnant. Apparently, impending fatherhood had made him realize what he'd been missing with Daniel. "Absolutely not," Jessica said when he first called. "You don't get to waltz back into his life whenever it's convenient for you." I only heard her side of the conversation, but I could imagine what Marcus was saying. Something about rights, about being Daniel's father, about deserving a relationship with his son. "He needs stability," Jessica continued, her voice tight with anger. "He needs people who show up consistently, not someone who appears for a few months and then vanishes again." More talking on the other end. "Fine. One afternoon. Supervised. And if you upset him, if you promise him things you won't deliver, so help me Marcus, I will end you." She hung up, then immediately threw her phone across the room. It hit the couch and bounced onto the floor. Feel better? I asked gently. No. She sank into a chair, her head in her hands. I don't want to keep Daniel from his father. I really don't. But Marcus has heard him so many times already. Promises to visit that never materialize, birthday presents that arrive weeks late if at all, phone calls that stop after a few weeks. I knelt in front of her. What did he say? That Brittany is pregnant. That he's getting his life together. That he wants to be a real father to Daniel. She looked up at me, her eyes glistening. What if he's telling the truth? What if he really has changed? Then that's good for Daniel. He deserves to have a relationship with his father. But what if he hasn't changed? What if he breaks Daniel's heart again? Then we'll be here to pick up the pieces. Together. She pulled me into her lap, holding me tight. I don't know what I'd do without you. Good thing you don't have to find out. The visit with Marcus was scheduled for the following Saturday at a public park. Jessica insisted on being there and I stayed home, giving them space for family matters. I spent the afternoon anxious and distracted, cleaning things that didn't need cleaning, reorganizing the pantry, anything to keep my hands busy. When they finally came home 3 hours later, Daniel ran straight to his room without a word. Jessica looked exhausted. How did it go? I asked. About as well as expected. Marcus spent the whole time talking about himself, about his new wife, about the baby. He barely asked Daniel anything about school or his life. He sank onto the couch. And then he promised to take Daniel to a baseball game next month. I could see Daniel's face light up and all I could think was, here we go again. Maybe he'll actually follow through this time. Maybe. But I'm not holding my breath. I sat beside her, taking her hand. Do you want me to go talk to Daniel? Would you? I don't think I can handle another emotional conversation today. I found Daniel in his room, lying on his bed and staring at the ceiling. Hey buddy, I said softly. Can I come in? He shrugged, which I took as a yes. I sat on the edge of his bed. Want to talk about it? He has a new family now, Daniel said quietly. A new wife and a new baby. That doesn't mean he doesn't love you. He didn't ask me anything. About school or my friends or anything. He just talked about Brittany and the baby and their new house. His voice cracked. It's like I don't matter anymore. My heart broke for him. You matter so much, Daniel. To your mom, to me, to so many people. But not to my dad. I didn't know what to say to that. How do you explain to a 7-year-old that sometimes parents fail us? That love isn't always enough to make people show up the way they should? Your dad loves you, I said carefully. But sometimes grown-ups are bad at showing it. Sometimes they get so caught up in their own lives that they forget to pay attention to what's important. He promised to take me to a baseball game. I heard. He's going to forget. He always forgets. Maybe. But maybe not. And if he does forget, we'll go to a baseball game. The 3 of us. Would you like that? He rolled over to look at me. Really? Really? I've never been to a baseball game actually. You could teach me all about it. You've never been to a baseball game? He seemed genuinely shocked. Nope. I'm a baseball game virgin. He giggled at that, which was what I'd been hoping for. You're silly, Mom. It was the first time he'd called me Mom without prompting, and it took everything in me not to cry. I try, I said. Now how about we go make some cookies? I think your other mom could use some chocolate therapy. Can we make the ones with the peanut butter chips? Absolutely. We spent the evening baking, the 3 of us crowded in the kitchen, flour flying and chocolate chips disappearing into mouths more than into the dough. By bedtime, Daniel seemed back to his normal self, chattering about his upcoming school project on the solar system. But later, after he was asleep, I heard him crying. I went to his room and found him curled up under his blankets, his face wet with tears. Hey, I said, climbing into bed beside him. What's wrong? I want my dad to love me, he sobbed. Why doesn't he love me? Oh, sweetheart. He does love you. Then why doesn't he want to be with me? I held him while he cried, wishing I could fix this, knowing I couldn't. All I could do was be there, be steady, be the person who showed up. Eventually, he cried himself out and fell asleep in my arms. I stayed there watching him sleep and made a silent promise that I would never, ever let him down the way Marcus had. Marcus did forget about the baseball game. He called 2 days before to cancel, citing some work emergency. Daniel took it better than I expected, or maybe he just expected it all along. "It's okay," he said when Jessica told him. "I didn't really want to go anyway. But I saw the hurt in his eyes, the way his shoulders slumped. How about we go instead?" I suggested. "I've been wanting to see a game." "Really? Really? Let's make it a whole day. We'll get hot dogs and popcorn and those foam fingers. And sodas." I glanced at Jessica, who usually limited his sugar intake. She nodded. "And sodas," I confirmed. The game was wonderful. We sat in the stands, ate junk food and cheered loudly for the home team even though none of us really understood all the rules. Daniel explained them to me with the utmost seriousness, and I asked questions that made him feel important and knowledgeable. Halfway through the game he climbed into my lap and said, "This is better than going with my dad would have been." Yeah. Because you actually want to be here." I hugged him tight, exchanging a glance with Jessica over his head. She mouthed, "I love you," and I mouthed it back. The holidays were complicated. My mother was invited to join us and surprisingly she accepted. She arrived on Christmas Eve wearing her best dress and carrying a dish of her famous empanadas. "These are for the boy," she said, thrusting the container at me. "Thank you, Mom. That's really thoughtful." She surveyed the living room, which we decorated with a huge tree, lights, and enough garland to supply a small parade. "It's very festive." "Daniel loves Christmas," Jessica said, appearing from the kitchen. "Mrs. Torres, thank you so much for coming." "You can call me Carmen," my mother said stiffly, "since we're apparently family now." It was the closest thing to acceptance I'd gotten from her, and I'd take it. Dinner was initially awkward, with my mother making stilted conversation and clearly unsure how to interact with Jessica and Daniel. But then Daniel started asking her questions about Puerto Rico, where she'd grown up, and about what Christmas was like there. "We had parranda," she said, her face lighting up. "That's when you go house to house singing and each house gives you food and drinks. By the end of the night you have a whole parade of people." "That sounds so cool," Daniel said. "Why don't we do that here?" "Because your neighbors would call the police," Jessica said dryly. "We could just do it at our house," Daniel suggested. All of us singing. And somehow, we ended up having an impromptu parranda in our living room, my mother teaching us traditional aguinaldos while Jessica pulled up the melodies on her phone. We were off-key and didn't know most of the words, but we were laughing and my mother looked happier than I'd seen her in years. When she left that night she hugged me and whispered, "You chose well, Mija. She's good for you." I cried after she left, from happiness and relief. "Good tears?" Jessica asked, wrapping her arms around me from behind. "The best tears." Spring brought new changes. Jessica's company was doing incredibly well, and she'd been approached about expanding to international markets. It would mean more travel, bigger responsibilities, more time away from home. "I'm thinking about saying no," she told me one evening as we prepped dinner together. A routine we'd fallen into, me cooking while she chopped vegetables and helped. "Why would you say no?" "Because of Daniel. Because of you. Because I don't want to miss any more of our lives together." I set down my knife. "Jessica, this is a huge opportunity." "I know. So why would you turn it down?" "Because I've spent years chasing success, building my company, proving I could do it. And I have. But what's the point if I'm missing everything that actually matters?" I understood where she was coming from, but I also knew she'd regret it. "What if we made it work? What if I came with you sometimes? We could turn it into adventures. Daniel could see new places, experience different cultures. Take him out of school? For short trips. Or we could go during summer vacation. Jessica, you don't have to choose between your career and your family. We can figure out how to make both work." She considered this, her brow furrowed in thought. "You'd really come with me? Even though it would be disruptive and chaotic." "I'd go anywhere with you. And honestly, the idea of traveling the world sounds pretty amazing." A slow smile spread across her face. "We could go to Paris, Tokyo, London. I could show you all my favorite places." "Exactly. And Daniel would love it. Imagine his face seeing the Eiffel Tower or the Great Wall of China." "You're amazing, you know that?" He kissed me soft and sweet. "How do you always know exactly what to say?" "Years of practice dealing with difficult people." "Are you calling me difficult?" "Extremely." I kissed her again. But I love you anyway. We took our first trip as a family that summer. 2 weeks in Italy. Rome, Florence, Venice. Daniel was enchanted by everything. The Colosseum, gelato, the gondolas in Venice. Mom. Other mom. Look at this. Became his constant refrain, pointing at architecture, fountains, pigeons. Everything was magical through his eyes. One evening in Florence, Jessica and I snuck away while Daniel was with a hotel babysitter. We had dinner at a small trattoria tucked away on a side street, where the owner treated us like family and the wine flowed freely. "This is perfect," Jessica said, reaching across the table to take my hand. "This whole trip, this life we're building, all of it. Perfect." "Not perfect," I corrected, "but pretty damn good." "You don't think it's perfect?" "Perfect implies there's nowhere to go, nothing to improve. I think we're perfectly imperfect. We're still figuring things out, still growing, still learning how to be partners and parents and individuals." Jessica was quiet for a moment, studying me in the candlelight. "When did you get so wise?" "I've always been wise. You just finally started listening." She laughed, that full, genuine laugh that I'd fallen in love with. "I'm going to ask you something and I want you to really think about your answer before you respond." My heart started beating faster. "Okay. Marry me." I stared at her. "What?" "Marry me. Be my wife officially and legally. Let's make this permanent." She wasn't on one knee, we were in a crowded restaurant, but her eyes were earnest, vulnerable. "I know we said we didn't need marriage, that what we have is enough. But I want to stand up in front of everyone we know and promise to love you for the rest of my life. I want rings and vows and all the traditional ceremony. I want—" "Yes," I interrupted. "Yes. Yes, I'll marry you. Of course I'll marry you." Her face lit up like the sun. "Really? Did you think I'd say no? I thought you might want time to think about it." "Jessica, I've been thinking about it since the first time you kissed me. Maybe even before that." "Yes. Absolutely yes." We kissed across the table, probably scandalizing the Italian families around us, but I didn't care. Jessica pulled back long enough to fumble in her jacket pocket, producing a small velvet box. "I've been carrying this around for 3 days, waiting for the right moment," she admitted, opening it to reveal a stunning emerald-cut diamond on a platinum band. "It's gorgeous," I breathed. She slipped it onto my finger, a perfect fit, and kissed my hand. "I had it sized. I may have stolen one of your rings to make sure." "Sneaky. Strategic." He grinned. "So, future Mrs. Whitmore. Or you could be Mrs. Torres. Or we could both be Mrs. Whitmore Torres. That's a mouthful. We'll figure it out." She kissed me again. "We have the rest of our lives to figure it out." When we told Daniel the next day, his reaction was not what we expected. "Does this mean you're going to have a wedding?" "Yes," Jessica said. "Is that okay? Can I be the ring bearer?" "Ring bearer," I corrected, fighting back a smile. "And absolutely. We couldn't have a wedding without you." "Will there be cake?" "So much cake." "Then okay. You can get married." Just like that, we had his blessing. We got married the following spring in the townhouse garden, surrounded by close friends and family. Victoria was my maid of honor, crying through the entire ceremony. My mother wore her best dress and didn't complain once. Daniel walked both of us down the aisle, taking his role as ring bearer very seriously. Jessica wore a cream suit that made her look like something out of a fairy tale goddess. I wore a flowing white gown that Victoria had helped me pick out. We'd written our own vows, and when it came time to say them, I looked into Jessica's eyes and spoke from my heart. "Jessica, when I came to interview for a job last year, I was lost. I didn't know what I wanted or where I was going. But you gave me more than a job, you gave me a home. A family. A reason to wake up smiling every day." My voice cracked, but I pushed on. "You've shown me what it means to be truly loved, to be seen and valued for exactly who I am. And you've trusted me with the most precious thing in your world, your son, who I love like he's my own. I promise to stand by you, to support your dreams, to be your partner in all things. I promise to love you through the easy days and the hard ones, through success and failure, through all the messy, beautiful chaos of life. You are my home, and I am so grateful to spend the rest of my life with you." By the time I finished, Jessica was crying, and so was half the audience. Then it was her turn. "Gina, I thought I had everything figured out. I had my company, my son, my carefully controlled life. And then you walked in and turned everything upside down. She laughed through her tears. You taught me that control isn't the same as happiness. That letting someone in, letting someone see your vulnerabilities doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger. You've been my partner, my co-parent, my best friend. You've taken care of us with such grace and love, and you've never asked for anything in return except the chance to keep loving us. So today I'm promising you everything. My heart, my life, my future. I'm promising to be the partner you deserve, to listen when you speak, to value your dreams as much as my own. I'm promising to love you every day in big ways and small until my last breath. You are my home, Gina Torres, and I am so lucky to call you my wife. When we kissed, Daniel cheered loudly and everyone laughed and applauded. The reception was perfect. Good food, better wine, dancing in the garden as the sun set. At one point I found myself dancing with my mother. You look happy, Mija, she said. I am, Mom. Really happy. I'm sorry, she said suddenly. For making this harder than it needed to be. For not understanding sooner. Mom. Let me finish. I was scared. Scared of losing you, scared of being alone, scared of change. But watching you with Jessica, with Daniel, you're where you're supposed to be. And I'm proud of you. I hugged her, crying into her shoulder like I was a child again. Thank you. That means everything. Later, Jessica and I danced together, swaying to a slow song while Daniel ran around with Victoria's kids, hopped up on cake in excitement. No regrets? I asked, resting my head on her shoulder. Not a single one. He kissed the top of my head. Though I might regret how much cake Daniel ate. He's going to be bouncing off the walls all night. That's a tomorrow problem. Tonight we're just going to enjoy this. Deal. We danced until the stars came out, until Daniel finally crashed from his sugar high, until it was just the two of us in the garden holding each other in the moonlight. I love you, Mrs. Whitmore Torres, Jessica whispered. I love you too, Mrs. Whitmore Torres. And it was perfect, perfectly imperfect, messy and beautiful and real. Everything I'd ever wanted and more than I'd ever dreamed possible.